After the missile strikes by Iran on Israel in retaliation to Israel's attack on Lebanon and Hezbollah, particularly the killing of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah on September 27, and Israel's subsequent promise of counter-retaliation, the crisis in West Asia is evidently spiraling out of control. Iran has already warned of an unconventional response if it is attacked. Now, while Israel's biggest ally, the United States, has pledged its support to Israel in its move to defend itself, President Joe Biden has been unequivocal in his insistence that Israel's response should be proportional and not include attack on sites associated with Iran's nuclear program.
We'll be discussing with the Israelis what they're going to do, but all 7 of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
Sir,
But going by its actions thus far, it is difficult to say whether Israel will follow the conventional line of war. Considering Israel's advanced military and intelligence capabilities, it can take out important leaders, military command centers, missile launch pads, and energy points including oil terminals and refineries, as well as nuclear sites. Let's take a look at the important centers which may be a target, which may be considered outside the scope of proportional response, and which will most certainly escalate the crisis further. Iran holds 10% of the world's known oil reserves and 15% of its gas. Iran's important oil field sites, which can be potential targets, include the Ahvaz, Gacha-Saran, Maroon, Agajari, and Karnaj fields. Attacks on refineries in Abadan, Isfahan, Bandar Abbas, and Arak can cripple Iranian and regional economy. Persian Gulf Star plant in Bandar Abbas, which fulfills 40% of Iran's oil needs, is significant. Security experts have argued that Israel could also target the Kharg Island oil port, located off Iran's northwestern coast, which handles around 90% of the country's overall crude export. An attack on oil centers will seriously affect Iran and the global energy economy. Perhaps most serious is the possible outcome if, in retaliation, Iran attacks oil reserves in its neighboring Gulf nations. An escalated crisis in West Asia and a global energy crisis will also severely impact Vice President Kamala Harris's bid in the presidential elections due in a month's time. Add to this is the prospect of attacking Iran's nuclear program. Nuclear installations include the uranium processing site in Isfahan, partially built heavy water reactor plant in Khondab, as well as research centers in Tehran. The 2 main uranium enrichment centers in Fordo and Natanz are both deep underground, and experts argue that attacks on them will require US assistance in order to be successful. Assistance that at present seems to be unavailable to Israel. European nations including France, UK, Germany have condemned the Iranian attack and expressed support for Israel. Russia has supported Iran, and China is its most significant trading partner, especially for oil. It is pertinent that Israel's future course of action follows caution and restraint and recourse to dialogue and diplomacy with intermediaries for much-needed de-escalation. Because if not, a temperamental or impulsive decision on Prime Minister Netanyahu's part can very well make the conflict spill over West Asian frontiers and onto the international arena. Bureau Report, India Today Global.